Joining me right now is Arkansas Congressman and Financial Services Committee member French Hill. Congressman, what's your reaction to this? I mean, when did it become, that OPEC owed Joe Biden anything? I don't understand this whole notion that the U.S. is supposed to be mad at Saudi now and we got to reassess the relationship because they cut oil production.
Well, good morning, Maria. Yeah, this is just more pre-election talking points from the White House. The reason that we should be focused on energy is producing energy here at home.
Right.
And no one's been a bigger impediment to that than Joe Biden. So the issue rests with the Biden administration's war on energy through ESG, through taxes, through their attack on regulatory policies. That's what we need to get fixed because that's driving inflation in this country.
Well, that's one of the most important issues, the energy policy. Will the Republicans be able to do anything about it should you take the House majority?
If we take the House and the Senate, we'll use our authority under the Congressional Review Act to reverse bad regulatory decisions by the administration. We'll put pressure on the administration's appointees in both the House and Senate to change this policy. Look, we were producing 13 million barrels a day before the pandemic. We were the largest producer in the world. We were exporting LNG, which Europe desperately needs now. And Biden turned the spigot off and turned all the incentives off. In fact, he did the opposite. He said he had a war on fossil fuels, and he delivered on it. So we will be pushing back and using all of our tools to make sure that the administration goes back to making us the world's largest energy producer, and we need an all-of-the-above energy policy, and that's something that this administration has also not been good on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the policies, but it's also the fact that they won't acknowledge it and they try to blame everybody else. James Freeman, you're out with your piece this week, Bernie Sanders and the inflation blame game. I love the way that you write that now he's blaming the Mars family because candy prices are up. So it's the beef companies, it's the oil companies, now
turkey
it's the candy
companies. Yeah,
big meat. I just call it big meat.
Big meat, big oil, little gas, people who run gas stations. Now you got commercial real estate because rents are going up. So you have to believe there's this kind of epidemic of greed in the economy during the Biden era, or maybe it's inflation. But Congressman, I want to ask you, you talked about how these threats from the White House are kind of pre-election posturing from Biden. What's kind of amazing to me is how they're not even pretending that it's anything else. They're basically saying to Saudi Arabia, you didn't pump the oil to give us cheap gas before our election, so now we're going to reassess our strategic relationship.
Well, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, they're not saying that anything changed in the Middle East. They're not saying that geopolitics around the world, it's just purely a political payback. It's kind of amazing they didn't bother to spin it, isn't it?
And when did it become that the Saudis had the Bidens back going into the midterms? Like when did that become a notion?
This administration is the most adolescent administration in American history. We're blaming the dog for our homework. We're blaming the Saudis on oil prices, big oil. The border is secure. Their inflation's not a problem. Inflation's not going up. I mean, it's just like the kid that comes in who wants to borrow the car keys and he hadn't accomplished any of his homework or his chores.
Yeah, but Dagan, these are real issues. Look at this new report that finds nearly 2/3 of employed Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck. It includes people making more than $100,000 a year. The Wall Street Journal is reporting surging rents are pushing more Americans to live with roommates, live with their parents, Dagan. So, yeah, they can make believe it's everybody else's fault, but at the same time, we're all feeling it.
Right. It goes beyond, and I think that to the Congressman's point, that's an insult to teenagers to compare adolescents to what these adults.
Congressman.
These elected adults have done to the American people. It really is a lack of basic empathy. I've said this before, but President Biden, he ran for the highest office in the land, but saying, I'm empathetic. It turns out he's not just apathetic, he has antipathy toward the American people, because you have to know at some point 6 months in to this administration that their policies were raining hardship down on the American people. And they not only have not reversed course, they have gone full steam ahead, looking no further than extending the moratorium on making student loan payments, which is inflationary. I keep bringing that up. But inflation was at 1.4%,
wow.
and the economy was growing at a 4.5% clip when Joe Biden took office. And look at this hell that we're all living in now.
We got the timeline. Go ahead, Congressman.
Well, we're going to take the House back in 2 weeks because Republicans are focused on kitchen table issues. We're focused on inflation. We're focused on getting America back to being an energy producer. We're focused on the problems that the American people say are the top issues.
Yeah.
We're not focused on all these distractions, and we're not blaming other people.
Right. Well, look, Nancy Pelosi says, let's just change the conversation, shall we? 13 days until the November midterm. She's facing criticism because she told the New York Times, quote, I cannot believe anybody would vote for these people. Referring to GOP candidates, Congressman, she's putting it on you. And now the new watchword out of this administration is that everything gets worse if the Republicans win.
Look, we're going to fight inflation by letting the Fed do its job and try not to be pushing a wave of money at the Fed. We're going to go back to pre-pandemic spending levels. We're going to make the Trump tax cuts permanent for families. We're going to reduce this regulatory burden. We're going to make energy a top issue for the United States again. We're going to correct the supply chain issues. These are the things we're going to fight for if we take the House back in 2 weeks. Those are things that will do something about inflation instead of blaming other people.
Did you hear what Nancy Pelosi said the other day, where she says, it's not about inflation.
Right, yeah.
It's about the cost of living.
Very different things.
But
Very
I thought about it, and I only bring this up because James Freeman will certainly have something to say about it. What she is saying is that when she says that it's not about inflation, it's about the cost of living, this is how, and Joe Biden's going to do this today, and they've done it since last year, this is how they pivot away from the inflation to blaming corporations. When she says it's about the cost of living, they're going to turn and say it is candy companies making candy more expensive. It is meat companies and meat processors making your food more expensive. So that's what they're going to do today, is blame companies for raising prices when their own input costs have gone up.
Yeah, she said it the other day. She said it the other day on the Sunday show. She said, we have to change the conversation. She told us exactly what she's going to do. Change the conversation.
Let's talk about your husband's drunk driving arrest if you want to change the conversation.
Or all the trading in options right before legislation comes down.
There you go. And by the way, thank you for, on behalf of the teenagers in my household, for pointing out that they get inflation and they're not blaming the local guy running the gas station. But, Congressman, it does seem like the Democrats have got some polling telling them that even if it's economically nonsensical, blaming business is their best option here. Do you see that in polling? Does that work?
No, I don't see that in polling here in Arkansas. I see families here spending $7,000 more in a median income of $44,000 for the same goods they bought last year. Back to school clothes, gas, groceries at the store. That's what people are talking about. And that's what Nancy Pelosi doesn't get, because she has 2 Sub-Zeros filled with ice cream and apparently a lot of other things for her husband. We're going to send her back to San Francisco so she can drive for him starting in January.
All right. We appreciate it, Congressman. Thanks very much.